You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Now for a look at news around the world making headlines this Friday, the 13th of August. 6 people, including a child, have been killed in a rare mass shooting in the UK. Police were called to the scene in the coastal city of Plymouth on Thursday night. The British Home Secretary described the incident as shocking. 5 people, including the suspect, died from gunshot wounds at the scene. The 6th person died a short time later in hospital. Police described the shooting as a serious firearms incident and said the incident was not related to terrorism. The United Kingdom has one of the lowest gun homicides in the world. This was its first mass shooting in 11 years. The Taliban is closing in on the Afghan capital of Kabul. It has launched a lightning-fast offensive in recent weeks following the withdrawal of US troops. It has now captured the city of Ghazni, the 9th provincial capital it has seized this week. It reportedly has control of about 2/3 of the country. Security analysts say Kabul could be surrounded within the month and fall within 90 days. All gateways into the capital are choked with civilians fleeing violence elsewhere. The Taliban has already captured districts bordering Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Iran, Pakistan, and China, heightening regional security concerns. The Taliban is fighting the US-backed government and wants to impose a strict interpretation of Islamic law.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And they got the countdown right, and the first 2 booster stages went according to plan. But as the old saying goes, what goes up must come down. This Indian rocket, which was carrying a powerful Earth observation satellite, failed to fire fully on Thursday and plunged back to Earth. The Indian Space Research Organization described it as a major setback for the country's space program. It is not known when the launch will be attempted again. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Fresh from their hero's return to London this week, Team GB has been hit by a doping scandal. The Athletics Integrity Unit has provisionally suspended Britain's Olympic 4x100-meter relay silver medalist Chinju Ujah. He joins 3 other track and field athletes who were suspended during the Olympic Games themselves. Ujah, seen here on the left in this photograph, has been notified by the International World Athletics Federation about the finding. The AIU said in a statement that it had been alerted by the Doping Control Laboratory in Tokyo after the Games that Ujah had returned what's known as an adverse analytical finding from a test carried out during the Olympics. It listed the prohibited substances as ostarine and S23. Both are classified by the World Anti-Doping Organization as selective androgen receptor modulators, similar to anabolic steroids. If the tests are confirmed, Ujah's relay teammates, Zarnell Hughes, Richard Kilty, and Nathaniel Mitchell-Blake's medals will also be at risk. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. No doping drama for the world of swimming's most decorated woman, Katie Ledecky. She's on top of the world, well, almost. She took a victory lap on Thursday at the top of New York's Empire State Building. Proudly on display were her 2 gold and 2 silver medals from the Tokyo Olympics. Ledecky now has won 15 world titles and 7 Olympic golds. She's beaten the record for the most women's individual Olympic swimming titles that was held for a quarter of a century by Hungary's Kristina Egezsegi. The American dominated the 800 meters freestyle final in Tokyo last Saturday to win gold comfortably. She led from the start and opened up a full body length after 500 meters. She finished in 8 minutes and 12.57 seconds. Ledecky now focuses on preparations for the World Championships, as well as qualifying for Paris 2024, which shouldn't be too much of a stretch. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. 7 years after his departure for Inter Milan, striker Romelu Lukaku is back at Chelsea. He signed a new 5-year deal with the club, reportedly worth a club record of almost $135 million. The Belgium international returns to Stamford Bridge after 2 successful seasons in Italy. He scored 24 league goals as Inter Milan clinched their first Serie A title in 11 years. Before leaving for Italy, Lukaku made 15 appearances for the Blues over 2 seasons, but failed to score a single goal. He was then loaned to West Bromwich Albion in 2012 before being sold to Everton in 2014. A couple of years later, he moved to Manchester United. But it was Milan where he flourished. He dropped weight and gained form as he scored 64 goals in 95 games and quickly became one of the most bankable names in European football. He'll no doubt be hoping he does better at Chelsea this second time around. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. You might have once swiped right, and you've probably swiped left a few times. But a German animal shelter is encouraging people in Munich to start swiping right to adopt a pet. Yep, the Munich Animal Shelter has turned the dating app Tinder in a new approach to find homes for abandoned pets. When the lockdowns hit Europe last year, the demand for pet adoptions went through the roof. Sadly, as people now start returning to work and are spending less time at home, there's been a sharp rise in the number of unwanted pets being taken to shelters. The shelter is starting with 15 pets, of which professional photographs have been taken. The Munich Animal Welfare Association says several people have already swiped right on Tinder to set up their first date. They say the response has been amazing. With the number of pets available for adoption in Cambodia, this might be something animal shelters here could start to think about. EAC News fully supports the Royal Government of Cambodia's preventative and administrative measures against COVID-19. But we need you to play your part in helping bring the 20 February community transmission event to an end. Wash your hands regularly, sanitize wherever possible. Keep an eye on your body temperature. Use the Stop COVID QR code and maintain a safe social distance. But above all, please, 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 wear a mask. Only together can we beat COVID-19. eArts Cambodia's audience is growing. Our YouTube channel now has 150,000 verified subscribers. To mark the milestone, we've received the Silver Creator Award from YouTube, given to channels with over 100,000 subscribers. YouTube CEO Susan Wojcicki says the award celebrates eArts Cambodia's hard work and incredible achievement. She says not only has eArts Cambodia brought a unique voice and style to the world, but has also created valuable connections and built a community along the way. The next milestone we're going for is 1 million subscribers, and we'd really like that Gold Creator Award. So if you're not already a subscriber, head to www.youtube.com/eArtsCambodia. Subscribers get all the latest breaking news and updates from Cambodia in English. We'll see you there.
Đợt miền thôi ấy sao?
ហេតុអីបានជាជំងឺ COVID-19 នៅតែឆ្លងច្រើនរាល់ថ្ងៃអញ្ចឹងយើងខំប្រឹងការពារដែរហ្នឹង
មកពីយើងទាំងអស់គ្នាហ្នឹងអនុវត្ត3កុំ3ការពារមិនបានត្រឹមត្រូវ
មិនត្រឹមត្រូវយ៉ាងម៉េចទៅលោកមេភូមិ
បងប្អូនមួយចំនួនគាត់ភ្លេចខ្លួនមិនអនុវត្ត3កុំ3ការពារជាពិសេសបងប្អូនមួយចំនួនគាត់មិនអនុវត្ត3កុំ គាត់ទៅកន្លែងមានមនុស្សច្រើនកន្លែងបិទជិតមិនមានខ្យល់ចេញចូលល្អកន្លែងចង្អៀតដោយមិនបានអនុវត្ត3ការពារទេកន្លែងទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងធ្វើឲ្យការចម្លងវីរុស COVID-19 លឿនណាស់បើមានអ្នកណាម្នាក់មាន COVID-19 ចូលមកនោះវីរុសឆ្លងតគ្នាលឿនណាស់ហើយអ្នកទាំងនោះនាំទៅឆ្លងដល់គ្រួសារឆ្លងចូលភូមិទាំងរយអ្នកអញ្ចឹងទៅ
វិធានការ3កុំ3ការពារនេះសំខាន់ណាស់យើងគ្រប់គ្នាត្រូវចូលរួមអនុវត្តឲ្យបានត្រឹមត្រូវដើម្បីការពារមហន្តរាយដល់គ្រួសារយើងនិងសង្គមជាតិយើង
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Booster shots for frontline workers have come to Phnom Penh following the rollout in 7 border provinces. The royal government is prioritising doctors, nurses, the military and police. One of the venues being used in the capital is the National Pediatric Hospital. EAC News reporter Reo Soko paid them a visit.
At least 2 days of the booster vaccinations at the National Pediatric Hospital are exclusively for their own staff. The hospital caters to children who need medical attention. There is also a COVID-19 ward. Pediatrician Dr. Andreas Hansman told EAC News that they have treated 3 children for COVID and that they had only mild cases. They were placed in a ward together with their parents. He says that since the February community outbreak, the hospital has been relatively quiet. He believes people who need medical help are choosing to avoid hospitals, fearing the virus. But with the booster shots, Dr. Hansman says it's important that all hospital staff should be vaccinated.
It's very important for us because, as you know, Delta variant has arrived in Cambodia since about a couple of weeks, coming over from Thailand, and we know that the Delta variant is much more transmissible compared to the other variants previously. So already we've had small outbreaks in hospitals in Cambodia and in Phnom Penh of healthcare workers who got infected from patients or from other staff. Despite all precautions, it's just very transmissible. And once healthcare staff get infected, hospitals or wards quickly have to close down and patient care is no longer possible, right?
Another pediatrician, Dr. Meng Chai, has encouraged other frontline workers to get their booster shots.
First of all, we already know that COVID-19 has another variant. We give booster shots to our hospital staff and frontline doctors to reduce the spread and create antigens, especially to protect us from the Delta variant. So according to the Prime Minister's speech, he wants all of the doctors here and frontline doctors to get their booster shot.
Dr. Chai says any children who develop serious COVID-19 will not be treated at his hospital, but would be transferred to a specialized treatment facility.
And pediatricians here at the National Pediatric Hospital are encouraging other healthcare workers to get their booster shots. They say it is very important because if 1 or 2 staff at a hospital will test positive for COVID-19, and then all of them will have to be quarantined. And then there'll be no one left to take care of the children who desperately need their help. Rhea Soko, EAC News, Phnom Penh.
You're watching EAC News. Thanks for joining us. 3 million more doses of Sinovac landed at Phnom Penh International on Thursday morning. The doses were bought by the royal government and will go into the arms of adults and children at 21-day intervals. The shipment was welcomed by Health Ministry Secretary of State Yuk Sambat. She says 2 million more doses will arrive before the end of the month. They will take to 16.5 million doses of Sinovac that the country has either bought or received as donations. Thursday's delivery also means that the kingdom has received a total of some 24.5 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines. To date, 7.2 million doses of Sinopharm, 14.5 million doses of Sinovac, just over 1.7 million doses of AstraZeneca, and over 1 million doses of the single-shot Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Regarding securing more AstraZeneca doses for booster shots, Yuksambat says government is working through its embassies in South Korea, Japan, the UK and India to place orders. As at Wednesday, for the target of 10 million adults, 8.1 million have received their first jab, 6.6 million have been fully vaccinated. For children aged between 12 and 17, 20.5% of the 2 million target have received their first dose. It was a busy Wednesday night for announcements regarding extensions to the 14-day anti-Delta campaign that was due to end at midnight on Thursday. First, Phnom Penh announced different extensions for different measures, and then the royal government made an announcement regarding the measures in place nationwide. So, to clarify, if you're living in Phnom Penh, the curfew has been extended for a further 7 days. The time has been adjusted, though, no longer from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m., but from 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. The curfew runs through Thursday, the 19th of August. Phnom Penh's ban on alcohol sales and suspension of high-risk businesses, though, has been extended for a further 14 days, running through Thursday, the 26th of August. Nationally, the 14-day campaign has been extended for another week. This means the borders with Thailand will reopen only next Friday, the 20th of August. The lockdown in the 8 border provinces, the ban on alcohol sales, and on dining in at restaurants in every province but Phnom Penh will also end next Friday. In making Wednesday night's announcements, the Prime Minister and the Phnom Penh Capital Administration said the initial 14-day campaign had worked, but that more effort was needed to prevent a full-blown community outbreak of the Delta variant. You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Life is steadily getting easier for people with disabilities in Cambodia. On Thursday, 22 access ramps were distributed in 5 provinces. They've been installed at 22 community halls. At the same time, a series of physical accessibility awareness videos have been launched. Both projects are supported by the Australian Embassy through the Australia-Cambodia Cooperation for Sustainable and Equitable Services, or ACCESS program. EAC News reporter Reo Soko has the story.
ACCESS is a 5-year Australian government initiative in Cambodia running through until 2023. ACCESS says it reflects Australia's strong commitment to supporting human rights, gender equality, and disability-inclusive development in the region. On Thursday, 22 access ramps were installed at community halls in Kampung Spu, Kampung Cham, Siem Reap, Badambong, and Croce. Secretary of State in the Ministry of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation, M. Chan Makara, who is also Secretary General of the Disability Action Council, says the ramps might be small, but they send a big signal to the rest of the country.
Disability work is vast, interconnected, and complex. However, the Royal Government of Cambodia, with Prime Minister Hun Sen, who is the honorary chairman of the Disability Action Council, together with the Minister of Social Affairs, Veterans and Youth Rehabilitation, the chairman of the Disability Action Council, and other leaders at all levels, technical officers have tried and overcome difficulties in collaboration with development partners to improve the disability sector and improve the quality of life of people with disabilities. Under the bilateral cooperation between the Government of Cambodia and Australia, Cambodia is receiving support on disability and gender issues under a competitive investment mechanism managed and operated by ACCESS.
He thanked the Australian government for their support through the ACCESS program, saying it has strengthened the cooperation between government agencies, the United Nations, NGOs, civil society, and other organizations, making the voices of people with disabilities louder than ever. Australian Deputy Ambassador Andreas Zerberg has highlighted that promoting and protecting the rights of persons with disabilities in Cambodia is his focus.
An enabling environment that provides adequate physical accessibility standards plays a central role in ensuring people with disabilities can participate fully in society and enjoy their optimum living standards. For example, accessible pathways, transport and parking facilities, and public buildings such as schools, workplaces, markets, commune councils, and health clinics will better support women, men, and children with disabilities to participate in daily activities that most people take for granted. For example, for a child, if we have a school that's accessible for people with disabilities, that can mean the difference between having an education or being left out.
The series of videos launched on Thursday have been designed to contribute to the awareness of physical accessibility across the health, education, and employment sectors and support the implementation of standards for physical access for all. Rhea Soko, EAC News.
You're watching EAC News. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a look now at news making headlines around the world this Thursday, the 12th of August. The death toll in the forest fires in northern Algeria has risen to at least 69. Villagers have been using hoses and tree branches to battle the fires, which have torched dozens of homes. The government has deployed the army to help fight the fires. 28 of the dead are soldiers. Hundreds of residents have been evacuated. Those who initially decided to stay and fight have started fleeing to hotels and university residences. Algeria's president has declared 3 days of national mourning. Across the border in Tunisia, no major fires, but record temperatures. The mercury hit a record 49 degrees in the capital Tunis on Tuesday. Slightly lower temperatures, in the low 40s, are forecast for the remaining